How about Steph Curry? He's getting closer to passing Ray Allen for the most threes all time, dropping 6 last night in a win versus the Blazers by 10 points. He had history on his mind. His 6 made threes on 17 of 19 shooting. His next shot at the record will be Saturday night against his brother Seth at the 76ers on ABC. Jay, what is Steph's impact on the NBA?
Are you okay? Are you
I
ready
will
to
be.
start to make sure you're okay?
As long as we don't talk about
your heart
the
rate got extremely high.
We're going to have real basketball conversation. Because that don't apply to the Knicks
so good
right
to hear
now.
you say that.
That don't apply to the Knicks right now.
So I'm watching Steph, and it dawned upon me because I realized that offensively, S.A., he is the most revolutionary player the game has ever seen in the history of the league. In the history of the league. Now, I'm not saying what Michael Jordan has done off the court, because Brand Jordan is something that will transcend time. I'm not. But on the court, he has forever disrupted the geometry of the game of basketball, S.A. This is a guy that once he steps his foot over the half-court line, you have to pay attention to where he is all time, every single time. Even the way he shoots the ball. He is, when you're waiting to shoot the ball, it's like you hold your foul through. It looks pretty. You see Ray Allen, you see Kobe, you see MJ hold it. He shoots it like a slingshot. The way he gets shots contested, he makes those shots look as if they're available, open, easy shots from long distances that we've never seen before. That's point number one. Point number two, to add on to the most revolutionary offensive player to ever play the game of basketball, is when I watch Michael Jordan or when I watch LeBron James, I'm like, man, he's 6'10", he's 260. That's Karl Malone. That's Magic Johnson combined. I watch MJ, I'm like, he's 6'6", got a 45-plus vertical. I can't do any of those things. Stephen Curry is an everyday Joe megastar. He is our size, S.A. When you see him, it's like normal people. You can't work hard enough to be LeBron James. You can't work hard enough to be Michael Jordan. I'm not saying you can work hard enough to be Stephen Curry, but it sure as hell feels like if I get 1,000 shots in the gym, if I just keep working on my handle, I keep working on my three ball, I may be able to shoot the ball like Steph because he's a normal human being. He's not somebody that, I'm a normal human being. When I look at guys on the court, I'm like, man, these guys are aliens. Kevin Durant, 7'1" out here doing all this stuff. I can never be 7'1". I can never be 6'6" like Kobe and jump out the gym. But I can feel like I can be Stephen Curry. When I see little kids hosting the ball up from half court and shooting the ball like him, it seems like it's more attainable for young kids to think they can be Stephen Curry, more so than MJ or more so than LeBron James.
You're wrong. I respect where you're coming from because I feel a lot of those things about Steph Curry for the reasons that you articulated. But when we talk about the most revolutionary offensive player, I think it's time to start talking about him in comparison to LeBron James as revolutionary as it pertains to this generation. Okay. When we talk about the history of basketball, here's where I jump off the bandwagon with you, and I still stay with Michael Jordan. People were bringing Wilt Chamberlain, but like you said, 7'1" or whatever. There's a lot of dudes that's 6'4", 6'5", maybe not 6'6", but the vertical leap that Michael Jordan brought to the table, we knew was extraordinary, even though we saw that in the past from the David Thompsons of the world and a few others. But nevertheless, Jordan was one of a kind. Here's where I think you're cutting Jordan short in terms of his revolutionary impact on the court. From the days of the Boston Celtics winning the championship to Portland, for example, with Bill Walton and Lionel Hollins and Marek Lucas and those boys, when they overcame an 0-2 deficit against Philadelphia with Dr. J and those boys and won the championship. I remember Seattle, the Supersonics, with downtown Freddie Brown and Dennis Johnson, Jack Sikma, Marvin Webster, and all of those boys, all right? Gus Williams, let's not forget him. I remember all of that. And then, of course, here comes Bird. Here comes Magic. You're looking at the NBA, and the NBA was about team. Mm-hmm. What happened is Michael Jordan came along, and the marketing machine that was the NBA, combined with the sneaker companies and everybody else, started focusing on marketing the individual because Jordan was that kind of such a transcendent talent that they thought and felt, and accurately so, he as an individual, and I'm not talking off the court, even though obviously to some degree you're talking off the court in terms of impact, but I'm just saying, his abilities on the court made him a guy that you marketed to promote the brand. Kobe and LeBron and everybody, even Vince Carter and all of, they followed. But it started with MJ as the individual. Now, you could talk about Magic and Bird, but that was about the rivalry. it wasn't about their Herculean talents per se, even though both were great. It was about the fact that Bird was Boston and blue collar, cold near Connecticut, Molly, and all of that other stuff going on with Parrish, with Ainge, and all of those boys, with Red Auerbach and the cigar and all of this other stuff. And God help them if they ever got their hands on Len Bias years later before Bird hurt his back and ultimately retired. Could you imagine what Len Bias would have done with the Boston Celtics? People, the youngsters out there, you don't know about Len Bias. Look him up. The brother was, they thought he was going to be the next Jordan. Okay, that's how special he was. And he was bigger than Jordan, too. But he had a chiseled body, could shoot the whole nine. But I'm saying when you look at Jordan, and Magic obviously was Showtime with Worthy, Byron Scott, Kareem, all of these guys. But when you looked at Jordan, and Jordan came along, think about what we had in the league. I just gave you the Celtics and the Lakers personnel. I didn't mention Isaiah and the bad boy Pistons. I didn't mention Dr. J with Moses Malone and how they interrupted the proceedings by winning the title in '83. I didn't bring up any of those things. In the midst of all of that, the NBA said, the sneaker company said, corporate America said, yo, that dude right there, hell with all these teams. This dude right here is the dude that Marcus, because he's such a transcendent figure on the basketball court with what he could do, by the way, on both ends of the floor. I mean, it was Air Jordan because he took flight, like John Sally said in The Last Dance, because you know he ain't human. You know he ain't human, right? You know we had to get him before he took off because you know he ain't human. Michael Jordan was so special that from a revolutionary perspective, in terms of how the league utilized him, so we would ultimately pay attention to the individual heroics of the LeBrons and the Kobes and the Shaqs and everybody else in between. AI, let me not forget him. The list goes on and on. That individuality started with Jordan.
So I'm not comparing all those things about business and culture. Like
I'm talking the game. I'm talking this game.
I'm just saying strictly on the court. Let me ask you a question. Who's more relatable to you, Stephen A. Smith?
Steph Curry.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly my point. That's why it's more revolutionary to me.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.